We are live with Lunch Break Live. The beautiful Stacey Heiny is here, going to be cooking with us today. What are you making?
Today we are making oil-free chips and salsa. Yes.
Yes, we are. And this is the Herban Farmacy creator and founder, one of them. And take it away, just show us what you're doing, and we'll watch you step by step. It's all yours.
All right. Thanks so much. Just apologies, my camera would not back up any farther. So I'm going to be showing you what I'm using as I'm doing it. But we're making super easy oil-free chips first. So what I have here is just a stack of corn tortillas on my cutting board, okay? I'm going to cut them 4 times in an X and then in a T, okay? And I'm going to end up with 8 chips per tortilla. This is super easy to make your own chips at home, and you do not have to have chips that are covered in oil, and you can flavor them any way you want to. So as you can see, I have these 8 chips per tortilla now. Now, what I love to do is take a parchment paper lined baking sheet. I use unbleached parchment paper, and I just dump the chips onto there. And I'll just spread them out, and I'll show you what it looks like here in a minute. Again, since the camera is a little bit out of range, which is fine. We're making it work. What I love to do is I have a big spray bottle, but I also have a small spritz bottle like this full of lime juice. And I love to spritz my tortillas with the lime juice. And then I take some of my favorite seasonings, such as coriander powder or cumin powder. And actually today I'm going to be using a burberry powder, which is like an Ethiopian blend. There's really no rules in the kitchen. You can put any type of spices that you want on it, but this has different chili peppers in it, and it's kind of a warm seasoning, almost like a chili powder, but it's just Ethiopian version. And I will just pop those into my oven super quickly. I'm going to run over there real quick.
Okay, this is so exciting. Welcome to Lunch Break Live, everybody. And here's what I want to say that I'm so thrilled about. I usually dip them in oil, and you're teaching me how to dump the oil and bake them. Wow.
Yes. So all we need to do is just pop those in the oven at 350 for like 15, 20 minutes. You'll get the recipe for this, by the way. You guys can find the recipe for this, but 15, 20 minutes on your convection oven, and they're so delicious, and they turn out nice and crunchy. I'll show you what they look like when they're done. See? Can you hear that crack? And they are perfect for your fiestas. So this is what we've been doing for so long, and I'll tell you what, that lime juice really does make a difference. I see Bethany is asking, or Betty Ann is asking, what kind of tortillas did I use? I use Trader Joe's tortillas because they are just 100% corn, and they do not have any salt added to them, which I really like because I'm pretty much I don't add salt to my food unless I feel as though I really need it, but we can find flavor from so many other things. So now we're going to get on to the salsa now that my chips are cooking. Salsa, guys, I have a food processor here. I know you can't see it, but we're working with it today. I just have one bunch of cilantro. I like to put the cilantro in first so that things can blend easily. And typically that's the hardest thing to blend. It's just, lots of leaves. And then I add some lime juice. So I'm just using whole limes. You can totally use the bottled organic Santa Cruz brand lime juice. I don't suggest getting the lime juice that's in like the squeezy lime juice bottles, just because that's typically made from like kind of like fake citric acid. So get yourself some real limes, or the glass bottled lime juice at the grocery store, where you would find other juices like in the juice aisle. And we just need about a quarter of a cup. Sorry again that you can't see me doing this. A quarter of a cup of lime juice. And what I did was I took my limes and I rolled them on the cutting board so that we could get more juice out of them. Okay, so that's a little trick if you are not finding that your limes are giving a lot of juice out of them, just roll them on the cutting board. Or if you have a microwave, you can pop them in the microwave to get the juices flowing in there.
Okay, now quick question. Betty Ann Cornwell's wondering, she doesn't use cilantro. What are your suggestions?
Okay, so listen, there's really no rules when it comes to cooking, in my opinion. So you could have, let me think here. Cilantro, a good replacement, I would say would try to use parsley, the flat leaf parsley. That would be your best bet. I mean, of course, basil is going to be very, very Italian, but you could literally, you could call this like a gremolata, or like an Italian salsa if you want to, and you could use basil. So there's no rules. I would suggest trying parsley and seeing how that tastes to you. And then if you don't like that, you could totally try basil, or yeah, those are the two that I would recommend. Now I'm putting a full thing of green onions. I know that it's kind of untraditional for salsa, but I love green onion in my salsa, and it's absolutely delicious. So I'm using two different versions of onions. I'm using shallots. The recipe calls for just any onion that you want, red, yellow, white, or shallots. And what I really appreciate about shallots is that they are, I don't know, they're a little bit more mild than a red onion, and a little bit more sweet. So I just pop the whole thing into my food processor. This is such an easy salsa. Again, very many apologies that you can't see my actual food processor, but
you're doing a great job describing everything. So, and you're also showing us, any kind of onions. Yes, Betty Ann, exactly. Love, love, love them. By the way, Stacey, I'm not sure if you're aware of our show called New Day, New Chef, and also here on Lunch Break Live. When a blender goes off our food processor, we like to do a little blender dance. So just so you know.
That's so funny. You know what? I actually just naturally do that when I'm doing my like Facebook Live videos or something. I always dance when the blender goes on. Isn't that funny?
That is so, we are in sync. I love it. Now,
humans do that.
What is that? Wait, hold us.
This is a jalapeno. I just because I have a toddler and I'm going to be picking him up like right after this video, I'm just going to I'm living on the edge today. I'm living on the edge, and I'm not going to take the seed or the insides out. Now listen, that's going to make it more spicy. So if you are not a spicy person, you're going to want to take the rib and the seeds out. Okay. But I don't want to be getting any of these jalapeno juices on my fingers today. So I'm just going to pop the whole thing into my food processor. Now I'm going to go ahead and blend. So just to get things going. Oh, wait, hold on. Before I do that, cumin seed. Cumin seed is kind of like, you got to have that in your salsa. Again, there's no hard rules, but cumin seed is delicious in your salsa. You could also use coriander seed, which is what cilantro comes from. And you could use that, which would be very potent and limey, but I'm putting about 2 tablespoons in there. A trick also to get more flavor out of your cumin is to put it into like a cast iron skillet and just toast your spices really quickly to get even more flavor out. So I'm going to turn this on and we'll do a little dance.
Awesome. Thank you for joining us here on Lunch Break Live, everybody.
We've got one little green onion that doesn't want to blend very well, but that's okay. We're going to just take him out. Now we're just going to pop about 4 to 5 here. I want to show you what it looks like. This is what it looks like. It's nice and chopped, but it's not like, super, I don't know. It's not liquefied. We want to keep some texture there, right? So we've got some texture going on. Just a whole bunch of plant roughage at this point and a whole bunch of flavor. I am going to add some garlic. Now, I like to use fresh garlic as much as possible, but if you don't like peeling garlic, you can always buy the little jars of pre-minced garlic, but I'm just going to pop it in whole. Garlic is very, very good for you. If you are super sensitive to onions and garlic, which I know a lot of people, not a lot of people, but some people may be, you could also use a spice called asafoetida in this, which is a root that actually lends the same flavors of garlic and onion. So we're going to use 4 cloves of garlic. I know that sounds crazy, but very, very good for you and very, very flavorful.
Okay, now people are asking your story. Stacey here is the owner of the Herban Farmacy. We're going to hear a little bit more about this. Yeah, she is a blender dance. Sorry, go ahead, blender dance.
Blender dance. Okay. Yes, I'm the owner of the Herban Farmacy. I am a holistic nutritionist and a lifestyle wellness mentor. So I teach women how to step into their greatness, but also live a life of wellness at the same time. I really like coaching women that are business owners, and we are small business owners ourselves. So that's just very near and dear to my heart. I'm going to be popping in some whole tomatoes. Super easy. I'm not even going to chop them. Here's my rule of thumb when I'm making salsa, because I don't mess around when it comes to salsa. We eat a lot of it. And if I'm making a recipe, I like to kind of batch it. Here's my rule. I take my food processor and I just fill it up with as many tomatoes as I can, and I call that good. And then when I taste it, if it doesn't taste tomatoey enough, I'll just put some more in once it gets all blended up.
Awesome. I think we're going to get another blender dance. This is amazing.
We're going to pulse. You don't want to get it too liquefied, so just pulse it. All right, that's good. Now, oh, that's beautiful. Okay. Oh gosh, that's so good. Look how beautiful that is. It's delicious. And then we're just going to be able to use our oil-free chips with that. And my favorite way to store this is to basically take wide mouth ball jars and pop the salsa in there, and get yourself some lids on Amazon that are reusable. They have colored ones, they have white ones, and then you have a low tox way of storing your food instead of putting it in plastic, and it's more eco-friendly as well. So that my oil-free chips and salsa. I hope that you loved that and that I made it in time.
You made it in. We have extra time. That looks amazing. One of our chefs on Lunch Break Live, one of our breakers, Tonya, says that looks amazing. I wanted to circle back to the batch cooking idea, as well as you go out to farmers markets locally in your area with your whole family. Tell us a little bit about that. But I also want to see, I imagine you're going to be tasting that salsa, but I want you to show it again to us. And how long do you cook those? Oh, look at how chunky.
It's delicious. And you can just keep blending it if you want to, have it less, if you want to have it smoother, there's no rules here. I mean, this is more like a pico de gallo, like on steroids, but yeah, like it's nice and it's textured here. We've got some good texture going on. But yeah, we have a farm. We don't yet live on it. But my husband, I say we, but my husband has been really the farmer since my 4-year-old son was born. We farm crops, organic veggies for the farmers market, organic veggies and herbs and microgreens. And we sell them at the local farmers markets. We're currently at 3 different farmers markets. And, we just want people to get on the plants. That's really what we're trying to do. Everybody needs to eat more plants.
Yes. Oh my gosh, this is incredible. Now, I also want to say that you love to give education, inspiration for a holistic and healthy life. If someone is just starting out on the journey of plant-based, what advice would you give them, Stacey?
Oh gosh, such a good question. If you're just starting off on the plant-based journey, my best advice is to not stress yourself out over this, and to just try to tap into your intuition when it comes to eating. Now, I know that you might be thinking, well, if I would intuitively eat, I would just eat Twinkies all day. What I want you to do is just listen to your body. And if you feel like eating more fruit, definitely don't stress about that. You should eat the fruit. If you love potatoes, you should eat all the potatoes that you want. Just be, don't be afraid of like hard set rules. I just encourage you to fill your plate with as many plants as you possibly can. And then if you're full or if you're not full and you feel as though you need the foods that you were eating before, maybe like, I don't know, maybe you just can't quit dairy, then drink the dairy until you can just start decreasing that dairy and decreasing it and decreasing it. And to not give yourself too much of a hard time if you can't just go completely plant-based right away. But just to know that that is your end goal for optimal health, for optimal support of the environment, and of course to keep the animals happy. And that's my best advice, just to not give yourself too much of a hard time and to just eat what you want as long as it's within, relatively healthy, and that you're not just eating a whole bunch of processed foods. There's different approaches to take, but I think also just downloading Dr. Greger's Daily Dozen. That's an app that's very, very easy for people to utilize on their phone. And it tells you, hey, you should be eating this many servings of beans. Hey, you should be eating this many servings of veggies. It to be eating the optimal plant-based way, right? And so I suggest people do that. Go to the Forks Over Knives website and check all those recipes because they're totally delicious. Get yourself a good cookbook. Fiber Fueled is one of the best cookbooks out there if you want to learn about benefiting your microbiome and getting some really great recipes. But there's so many tools out there, and you could also reach out to me on social media. I'm more than happy to help guide you if you are wanting to move forward with your plant-based journey. It lights me up to help people navigate those waters, because the more plants, the better.
Yes, and we have a practical question. Once you put that in your jar, put the lid on. How long would you say that it, will last in the refrigerator? And can you freeze it?
About 7 days. And yeah, I have frozen this. Yes, I have. The texture will be different. I love somebody that's asking if they can freeze it, because I'm all about freezing food. I will batch cook food and freeze it. But just if you are going to freeze it, just don't fill it all the way up. I mean, this is not too liquidy, but it will expand a little bit because it has water in it, because of the tomatoes just being so watery, but it will be a different texture. But what you can do is just let it thaw and then put it into a blender and just kind of blend it up, and it will be less chunky than before, because if you leave it in the chunks, the tomatoes kind of break down in terms of like their texture, and it's just going to be better if you make it a smooth salsa. Another thing that you can do after you've frozen it is to use it as a mixture with avocados and make a really easy guacamole. So it can be kind of like a guacamole base. So great question on that. But you can freeze it, or I'm sorry, you can store it in your fridge for about 7 days. It'll be good for about 7 days because they're good.
Amazing. Okay, can you please show us those chips again? I am so excited. And you have that spray bottle with lime juice. Is it also with a little bit of water? Or is it pure lime juice?
It's pure lime juice. It just tastes so much better that way. So much better that way. Just pure lime juice.
Nice.
Yeah.
You are going to find this recipe and thousands of others on janeunchained.com, everybody. Please head over to Stacey's social media. I've been throwing it up here. You can also find it in the chat. This has been an incredible show. What a resource. You are such a resource, a wealth of knowledge. If you want to start your own farm and have your own veggies on it, I imagine you could probably head over to Stacey's DM, send her a note. I am so excited to be promoting your farm and what you're doing.
Yeah, speaking of that, go to my podcast, and my husband and I actually talk about getting started in the backyard gardening. It was like episode 5, and we talk about backyard gardening and how to get started.
Oh my gosh, I am so heading over there because listen, I'm all about supporting the farmers who are wanting to get out of the, animal agriculture business and they want to increase their plants on their farms. So this is incredible, Stacey. Thanks everybody for joining us here on Lunch Break Live. Oh yeah, Paula says she loves your earrings. I just wanted to give you that. And yeah, and Tina says super yum. And Tom is in here today, Betty on Cornwall, as well as many others from Tonya is watching. Paula, hello, Paula. Thank you all for watching us here on a regular basis on Jane on Chain, right here, daily at 12:30 Pacific. Head on over to head on over, if you will, to our janeandjane.com for more recipes, including this one. And y'all are amazing. Thank you, Stacey. Love ya.
Bye.
And yeah, you bet. All right, everybody.